Hey everybody, welcome to Real Estate Revenue. I'm your host, Paul Airy, and in this episode, we are going to talk about Texas. Why is Texas such a great place to invest in real estate? Well, it could be a lot of reasons, and I'm going to go over some of the top reasons. First of all, when it comes to real estate, we have a lot of it. We have a lot of land to be developed. We have a lot of commercial properties out there. We have the second largest land mass of any state in the country, and probably the largest usable land mass of any state. If there are any Alaskans out there, I might get an argument about that, but that's my opinion about that situation. There's just a lot here. There's a lot of land here. We have a lot available. More of it's usable than a lot of other states. We have a very diverse landscape in Texas. We have North Texas with the plains and rolling hills, and we have the hill country in Central Texas, and we have the desert in West Texas. We have beaches. We have a coast. It's not a small coast. I mean, there's a lot of miles of coastline in Texas, and we have mountains. Believe it or not, we have mountains. Texas is not flat, okay? Forget what you see on TV that comes out of Hollywood. They portray Texas as a flat desert with no trees and, nothing beautiful about it. And they always do that. I don't know why. I guess they've never, ever set foot in Texas. They don't know what it looks like here. They don't know what the whole state is all about, basically. So what you see on television, that flat desert area, that's just a small part of Texas. That's West Texas. And that's just a small area. We have a lot of farms here, pine tree forest, and that never gets talked about. That never gets shown on television or in movies. So, I once saw an X-Files. I think it was one of the movies they made, and it started off on the screen. It said North Texas. And there was this windy, dusty, flat desert area, and these kids were out riding their bikes, and I think there were a couple of oil wells in the picture, and I don't know where they got the idea of the North Texas. North Texas is Dallas, guys. I mean, get out a map and look. North Texas is the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, around 8 million people. Rolling hills, grasslands, trees, rivers, lakes. It's not what they showed in that movie. So there's a wide range of different landscapes in Texas. Now, that's just one small part of Texas and why it's a great place to invest in real estate. Politics plays a huge part here in real estate. In fact, politics plays a huge part everywhere in real estate. It's not talked about enough in real estate shows or among real estate people, but politics has a lot to do with real estate market, with commercial real estate, residential real estate, all real estate. Politics can make it great, or it can really screw it up, which is what's going on right now. This whole economic situation that we're in, the housing market crash that we're about to experience, the one that we experienced in 2008, a lot of that came from politics, and this one is going to be more politically centered than the last crash was. And I don't know if it's corruption, stupidity, or incompetence. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose or if they're just so incompetent and stupid that they've done the things that they've done, but it all could have been avoided. Unfortunately, it was not. But if you notice, if you look at a political map of the United States, notice where the red states are and the blue states are. And notice where the population is leaving and where they're going. They're leaving the blue states and going to the red states. They're leaving California and New York and some of the other states up there around New York and New England. And they're leaving and they're going to Florida and Texas. Now, why is that? Well, they're taxing the hell out of those people in those states. And they're regulating them out of business. And During the pandemic, they shut down everybody's business, ran a bunch of people into bankruptcy. Why would they want to stay in a state like that? That's why they come to Texas and Florida. We don't have any state income tax, and we are business friendly. So what do I mean by business friendly? Well, the state encourages businesses to come here, and there's low regulation compared to other states. There's no state income tax. They actually want you to succeed. They do what they can to help you succeed. And when you're in a state that wants to tell you how to run your business, and they want to regulate you, and they want to tax you and take as much as they can get away with, and they keep raising taxes, the result of that is people are just going to leave. They're going to go they're going to leave the state, and they're not going to come back. They're going to go someplace where they're welcome. There's a saying I like: money goes where it's welcomed, and it stays where it's treated best. And that is what's going on. People are packing up, taking their money, and going to Texas and Florida. Now, that is why Elon Musk left California and came to Texas. Joe Rogan did the same. HP did the same. A lot of other companies are leaving California, leaving New York, coming to Texas, going to Florida. And probably those are my two favorite states right now. If I couldn't live in Texas, I'd go to Florida. And Florida, sorry, you're number two, but I'm from Texas, and this is my number one choice. Now, I invest in real estate here. I have clients as a broker. I have investor clients that come from California to Texas to buy real estate. They live in California. They have businesses out there. They will not buy real estate out there. They come to Texas to invest, and those are the reasons why. So that, and plus real estate is just so outrageously expensive and overpriced in California, and they know that, and they have chosen to not invest there and to go somewhere else. So, I mean, Texas is a big business climate. We provide about the number goes back and forth, 22 to 25% of the nation's oil supply comes from Texas. Cattle, beef, huge portion of the cattle that's used for beef consumption comes from Texas. We have farms here. We have a lot of farms here, ranches. And so a lot of agriculture going on in Texas. Something you don't see on television or in movies. They don't talk about that. They don't show that. They show oil wells and sandstorms, and that's about what they think the state is like. So you need to get that out of your head and decide Texas is a nice state, and that's one reason to come here and invest in property. So we have an increasing population because of all these things. We have an increasing population. So what happens when the population increases? Well, we have an increasing amount of development, real estate development. So we're in a situation right now where you can actually buy land and hold it for a year and sell it at a pretty large profit. And there are a lot of deals being made like that. I've done deals like that myself. And right now, the biggest amount of money is made when you can develop something, when you can build something from scratch, when you can buy a piece of land and put up a building on it and lease it out. Your entry cost in the property is lower, and you can sell it for a much higher price, a much higher profit when you go to sell it. So increasing development. If you drive through Texas, I drive around Texas a lot over the last 3 or 4 years, and I am amazed at the amount of real estate development that's going on. There are towns here that for a long time, they were just blips on the map. You drove through them and you didn't think anything about them. But now when you go through these towns, they are booming. You see cranes up everywhere. You see buildings going up. You see chain stores and restaurants going in. And these towns before would not have been able to attract that. But now the population is increasing. People are moving to these smaller towns. And I'm talking about towns that were, maybe 50 to 100,000 people. And they were kind of, stagnant. I don't always say stagnant, but their population was stable. And but now it's going the other way. It's starting to go up, and even the smaller towns of measured in hundreds of people, are now booming and going up into the thousands. There's a couple of little towns north of Dallas. If you know the geography here, you go up Highway 75, and you go through McKinney, and then north of that is Sherman. And in between, there are several little towns there. There's Melissa and Anna and Van Alstyne, and those towns in there are going crazy right now. The people, thousands of new homes that have been built in there, and thousands of people moving in. They want to get out of the city, so they move up there to those little towns. Well, now they're not little towns anymore. They're getting to be bigger towns, and that's kind of the way things are going. So you get on the outskirts of one of these cities and you buy land, you're going to be doing really well. When the development hits your area there, if you own the land, you're going to have the money. You're going to be the one that you're going to have a lot of say in what happens on that land, and you're going to be able to profit a lot from that investment. So increasing development is huge here. And there's something we say in real estate called the path of progress. If you can follow and predict the path of progress in an area, you can make money. That's where you will make money. And the path of progress is pretty easy to find and easy to follow, easy to predict if you know what you're looking for. When you go into these little towns and you see one town construction really high, the next town construction really high, and then the next town, not so much. Then maybe the town after that is a bigger town. So that one town where they didn't have so much, that's where you want to look. And maybe the one next to it, those areas. People didn't think those three little towns north of McKinney were worth anything when they had measured their population in hundreds and not thousands. And they didn't pay much attention to them. But somebody did. Somebody made a lot of money there because somebody went in and they bought the land. And when it came time to develop that, they made a lot of money. And I'd love to hear some of those stories. If anyone's out there that actually owned any of that land, I'd love to hear how that all came about. And I'd love to hear how you did on it. Now, a lot of these properties were family farms and ranches, and they got inherited by the children and they sold them off. And that happens a lot. That's happening around here, around where I live, north of Austin. There's one huge place here that used to be a ranch that's being developed. And out in the market I used to live in and work in West Texas, in Odessa and Midland, there are 2 or 3 of those places around there that were large ranches at one time. And the heirs of that family are selling it off and developing it, and they're doing really well, making a lot of money. And the people coming in and investing in that are also making a lot of money. So, look for that little town that's on the outskirts, but progress is going that way, because that's where the money's going. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in that area and pick up those properties before the people get there, before the developers get there. And you can be the developer. If you hold the land, you hold the cards. You can profit a lot from that development that's coming. So that's basically it about Texas. That's why Texas is such a good place to invest in real estate. If you look at the state, follow where people are going, you can do well. You can take a little bit of money, turn it into a lot of money. And that's kind of the attitude here. It's an encouraging attitude, and it's kind of people I like to be around. People that are positive about the future, people that are positive about real estate and about investing. Now, there are some problems. We have the real estate problems going on right now. I would not buy a house. I will not buy a house right now. And they're overpriced, especially in the cities here, in Austin and Dallas and San Antonio and Houston. Around the Austin area and around Dallas, houses are overpriced, and I would not buy one right now. I would wait. And I know people are saying, oh no, go ahead and buy now. And then other people are saying, oh no, go ahead and wait. You need to wait. Don't buy. I'm just telling you my opinion. And my opinion is I would not. I'm even holding off on buying certain commercial properties right now, or certain areas, because of that situation, because the prices are going to go lower, most likely, and you don't want to be holding a property you pay too much for, especially when interest rates are as high as they are right now. So keep all that in mind. If you want to invest in Texas, it's a great place to invest. If you're looking for some place to put your money, you don't have to do it in your backyard. It's better to start that way, but you don't have to continue to invest in your state if it's not a business friendly state. And keep in mind, investing in real estate is a business. People forget that it is a business and you have to treat it like a business. So you want to go to business friendly states. And that's where you want to invest in, is business friendly states. And Texas is one, Florida is another. So keep that in mind. Good luck to you investing. I hope that you come to Texas. If you do, look me up. We'll go look at some properties together. But have a look. Go on Crexi.com. It's CREXI.com. It's a marketplace for commercial real estate. Go on there and do some searches in Texas and look around some of the cities. I tell you, a great place right now is Sherman, Texas. There are 4 semiconductor manufacturers building huge plants there, somewhere around $70 or $80 billion in investment in those plants. Texas Instruments is one here outside of where I live, outside of Austin, in a little town called Hutto, or it's between Hutto and Taylor. Samsung's building a $17 or $18 billion chip manufacturing plant. That seems to be the popular thing here. Elon Musk just built his huge factory to build electric cars. And man, that thing is big. I don't think I've ever seen a building like that. And the state government did everything they could to help him get that done. And he went from having headache after headache with the state government of California to Texas saying, come in here and build, we'll help you and make sure you get it done. And they did it, and it was quick. They got this thing done in a really short amount of time. So come here, have a look around, and I hope your investing goes well. And I will see you next time on Real Estate Revenue.